Hey everybody, welcome back for War number 7 of Alliance War. This is Season 29. I'm fighting for the Alliance SAS, and for this war we are matched up against the Alliance CIRR, also known as the M-Force. This is a new opponent for us. I don't think we faced them in the last 3-4 seasons. Just taking a look at their Alliance info, looks like they finished in Plat 2 last season, but they are healthily in Plat 1, so clearly they are playing a lot better. They're in a good spot, and we're definitely desperate for a win here as we kick off the second half of the season. We have another loaded war with 9 fights here, starting off on Pass 6 with a Dr. Doom, also Bloodstone, and the Shared Strife Mini. Then we hop over to Path 8 in Section 2, where we have a Professor X on Encroaching Stun, Stupefy, and Power Reserve, a Super Scroll, and then a Scary Mojo on Node 47, the Shared Mini. And then we have 3 fights on Boss Island with Annihilus, Nick Fury, and Sorcerer Supreme on the left side. Our attack team is the exact same as last war with Apocalypse. He's at rank 360. He's going to take on that stripe where he gets to ramp up all the way to 4 charges if things go smoothly, and pass on the Horseman pre-fight to Archangel, who's going to take on the bulk of our war here with 5 fights. The Elsa, Super Skrull, Annihilus, Nick Fury, and Sorcerer Supreme. And rounding out the team is Human Torch. He's at rank 3 Sig 20 as well. He's taking on the Dr. Doom, the Professor X on Encroaching, as well as the Mojo on 47. So here's our first fight. This is Node 3, Aggression, Fury, and Strike Back. We aren't going to use our Flame on here, and this fight is pretty much a dead sprint. It's important for me to keep my tempo up. The longer this fight goes, the more chance that I have to fuel Mystic Dispersion, which I'm assuming is level 5, as well as the Aggression Fury node. So as long as I keep the pressure up on my end, I'll be in a pretty good position to close out this fight cleanly. So I'm going to stick to medium, light, medium combos at the start, and then about halfway through I'm going to transition into medium, light, dash back, and parry combos. And I don't really have a solid explanation as to why I transition there. It just feels more natural with how much power I'm giving him versus how much damage I need to close the fight out. So as you can see, we're off to a really good start. We hit Nova, and I'm going to start medium light backing off, just kind of letting the Nova Flames do their work there before I can close out the fight with a special 2, knowing that I have the stun to buy myself some time. And there we go. We finish fight 1 with 100% health, which is a really good spot to be in there. Moving on to the Elsa Bloodstone. This is Node 12, Power Focus 1, and Bubble Shield. Not too much for me to worry about here. I don't have to be mindful of Elsa Bloodstone shrugging things left and right, just because of Archangel here. I do need to keep an eye on Bubble Shield. This is only going to play a factor if the fight goes long, knowing that once I'm at 10 Bubble Shield charges, I have to dex the next hit, because it will be unblockable. But honestly, if we're at that point with Archangel here, something's gone horribly, horribly wrong. Just because this fight should be over fairly quickly. Get off to a good start. We get 2 bleeds, but unfortunately, I miss a parry. The 2 hits she punishes me with ends up critting, so that's a decent chunk of health. I do have the combat regen from the last fight. Torch versus Doom, kind of mitigating some of that damage, as well as the Incinerate that's ticking. But apart from that, we recover fairly well. We're able to stick 5 neurotoxins, and the fight's over within the first 30 seconds. So, pretty unhappy about that technical mistake on my end, but regardless, I'll take the full attack bonus. We'll pay the price in potions there. This is Node 19, Steady Buildup Fury, Heavy Hitter, and Power Alternator. This is a Strife. I'm not too worried about Strife's kit defensively. I will play it patient once he throws a special 1, but really I'm going to use an advanced power boost, and the plan is to get to my special 2 before the Power Alternator timer runs out, and then at that point I should be within range to finish the fight with a special 1. So just making the best use of all the boosts that I have kind of in the overflow here. And here we go. You can see that as we start the fight, we get ramped up to 3 charges right away because Strife is a mutant, so that's awesome for us. As we win this fight, we will have the full 4. I back off there just so I can get to my special 2 before he can throw that special 1, kind of eating time off the clock for him to steal my power with Power Alternator. So we play that fairly well. He throws a special 1. I am going to back off here. Just don't want to hit into his miss, knowing that we are really close to getting to our special 1, which should close out the fight as long as we have our 4 debuffs, which we do. And there we go. You can see it does a huge chunk of damage. And and that fight goes really clean. So we are set up to hook up our Archangel later on in the war to be a Horseman of Apocalypse, and Archangel gets super fun when that happens. So we're in a good spot here as we move into Section 2. This is Node 26, Encroaching Stun, Stupefy, and Power Reserve. This is Human Torch versus Professor X. So I need to keep the Encroaching Stun timer in mind, as well as his channeling charges, just knowing when he'll go into mind control. I need to save my flame on for the mojo at the end of this path, so I am not using it, and knowing that I have to bait heavies as well as parry his dash medium to get my openings, and there is no finesse in the way that I played this matchup here, as you can see. Always super sketchy whenever I use whenever I fight this fight. Can't really explain why, mostly just, I guess, the pressure of the time, both the clock in the Encroaching Stun timer as well as his mind control here, not wanting to get trapped into either or. Thankfully we do hit Nova Flame fairly early. I end up missing a parry and needing a few hits. So my first mistake here is I should have slow played this. I should have waited till the end of that stun timer and then chained on another special 2, which would have allowed me to essentially not throw that special 2 into his block, and then end up eating a combo to finish the fight. So pretty small misstep on my end, which I was lucky enough to escape with the victory regardless, but that's something for me to keep in mind in the future, just knowing when to extend my combo and when to fire off that special 2. So thankfully we do escape with all 3 attack bonuses, but I'm not happy with the execution there. Now on the flip side of execution here, this is a really straightforward fight. This is Node 44, Buff Imbalance, Rich Get Richer, Divine Barrier, and Heal Block. Archangel is going to be a Horseman here, and I do have to keep an eye out for the amount of buffs that Super Scroll is going to gain, because that will fuel Rich Get Richer, as well as the Buff Imbalance weakness. But once we get a few Neurotoxins rolling, that should stop both those abilities. And now that we are a Horseman of Apocalypse, that's just going to augment the amount of Neuros that we get to stick on him. So really good start. We get 3 Neuros off our first 2 heavies, and the fight kind of snowballs in the best way possible as that multiplies up to 6. And the pressure just keeps coming as we get to 8, and I believe I'm going to parry into a special here, and we end the fight with 11 Neurotoxins. So that's a 24-second fight. Super straightforward. Really glad that we were able to get through that one cleanly after botching the execution against Professor X. And speaking of no finesse fights, here's another one. This is Node 47, Kinetic Transference, Feat of Indestructible, and Opportunist. And in the past, I've just slapped on an Invulnerability boost, activated Flame On, knowing that I can tank 1 special 3 as long as I haven't messed up before that and taken a bunch of hits, simply because I can tank 2 to 3 degens before the time that it takes to close out the mojo here. So I do have Dex on. I'm not going to worry about kind of dashing back and forth, trying to bait out the special 1 or special 2. I'm just going to try and keep pressure up and just hope that the Nova Flames do enough damage to close out the fight before it matters. So fairly good start here. We're doing a decent job of keeping pressure up. We do have a bunch of Nova Flames up. We have 7 or 6 Power Stings on as he gets to his special 3. So he's just past the halfway point. So I know that I'm going to tank all the hits in the special 3. I'll have a few degens that'll be ticking me down. So it's important for me to not panic at this point, knowing that I am going to survive the degens. I just have to keep pressure up and keep applying the Nova Flames and try and close out the fight. I'm going to throw my special 1 right before I get to my second bar of power, knowing that the Feat of Indestructible would have kicked in, and I don't want Mojo to buy time, and we end up closing that fight. So that was the last fight I needed Torch for. No need to worry about the chip damage from the degen there. Really glad we were able to get through that one, and that sets us up for our final push as we hit Boss Island. This is Node 48 Rage Extend Return Policy. We've never fought Annihilus here, but thankfully I do have a guidance boost from a Magneto House of X supplied by J-Rock, so that should make this matchup a lot more straightforward, knowing that the Rage threshold is 5,767, something that Archangel probably won't hit as long as you're sticking to parry heavy here. So I'm going to use a 20% champion boost and a 15% health, just to give myself a little bit more of a safety net, as Archangel is going to take on the next 3 fights here. So that paired with the combat regen boost, that should essentially eliminate any need for topping up health for our next fight. So as you can see, the guidance boost is making this fight fairly straightforward here. We don't have to worry about our parries not sticking. I'm not going to dex out of the way of that special one. There's simply no need with the amount of healing that I'm getting from the combat regen boost, as well as the debuffs that he does place on me. So we have 8 neurotoxins, nothing much to worry about here. This fight should end fairly quickly, and we are able to seal that off. Move on to the fight that I was probably the most nervous for. I guess anytime that I have to fight a Nick Fury in war, no matter what node he's on, I am going to be super stressed out about this, and this happens to be node 51, Hurt Locker, Power Focus 1, Enhanced Special 1, and Power Drain. So essentially I don't want Nick Fury to throw his Special 1 at any point during the fight. So the game plan here, PHP, just parry heavy and pray, as well as knowing how important it is to just turtle up throughout the fight just to discourage him from throwing specials, and then knowing that I have to heavy counter or reparry depending on what phase I am in the fight here. So here we go. It's going to be really important to get off to a good start here, knowing that I am a horseman. That is going to help me land a few neuros. 2 bleeds off the start is a good place to be. Didn't feel comfortable punishing that heavy there. I want to take my time, knowing that I do have a lot of time at the start of the fight because I can stun him. There's no need for me to rush my openings, and so I waited until I was much more comfortable to try and apply that first neurotoxin. And we have 4, so this is a really good spot to be in here, where we got the rhythm of our reparries down. He's at 4 neurotoxins. He's about to get stunned by 1 expiring there, and I want to ideally get a few more neurotoxins just to seal off his first form. I try and cheese him with a special 1, seeing if I can stick a neurotoxin as he tries to heal up. That ends up not working, and a mistake here is I don't realize how close I am to the wall. I end up missing that final dex, and to get myself away from the wall, I throw a special 1, which is going to activate Hurt Locker. So you can see I'm going to take a giant chunk of damage here. Thankfully, it's not enough to kind of KO me, and all I have to do is push through this last little 10% of his health, which is no worries here. We do have 4 neurotoxins, so definitely a misstep on my end with managing the map as well as keeping track of Hurt Locker. I do think that was the right move though, having to just giving myself the amount of space. Just really thankful that the Hurt Locker damage wasn't too much. So here we go, this is our last fight. This is node 54, Aspect of Evolution, Enhanced Special 2 Biased, and Improved Power Gain. Archangel versus Sorcerer Supreme. We've done this fight a bunch before. Once again, there's no finesse here. This is essentially us using an invulnerability boost, knowing that we can tank up to 3 special 3s, and then apart from that, it's just parry heavy, hoping that we stack enough neuros to finish the fight before she gets to more than 3 special 3s. Sometimes she ends up throwing her special 1 and special 2, and if she does, that's great. That'll buy us a little bit more time. But this fight is a sprint. Getting 2 neurotoxins at the start, that's a pretty good start. I'm not going to dex her special 1. I don't want to give her a dexterity buff to eat and kind of fuel her power meter. 4 neurotoxins is a really good spot to be in here. I am keeping an eye on when she's going to come out and be stunned, but that multiplies up to 7. I am going to delay the timer just a little bit, just to buy myself some time and let the neurotoxins seal off the fight, which it does, and there's our 9th fight of the war. So, really glad we were able to get through with all attack bonuses there. Definitely not happy with some of the execution in a few of the fights, notably the Professor X fight. That should have been way cleaner on my end, as well as the Nick Fury fight. And thankfully we are able to pull away with the win here. The fight was 10-10 in terms of defender kills, but thankfully we actually did have the edge in defender diversity by 1 defender. So, not the cleanest war for us, but honestly we'll take it. Being 3 and 4 after War 7 is a heck of a lot different than 2 and 5 in terms of just climbing out of the hole we dug ourselves in the first half. So hopefully we can build from that, and thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you for war number 8.